everyone. This is going to be our top to toe, and I would say around 50 minutes. Let's begin. Now roll the shoulders forward, curl forward, walk the fingertips down and onto toes. Now look in a line, make sure that posture is aligned, and then hips tall, shoulders drop, head down and stretch. So today you have the company of Maisie Mittens, and Trudy is with us too. Now soften toes, roll through the feet, toes and heels, and squeeze calves. Looking at your posture, make sure as you push those heels down, you're trying to raise the toes on one side, heel on the other, and squeeze. And then soften onto toes again. See if you can get a little more lift at the hips. Drop shoulders. Then draw down onto that left knee and let the fingers align with those knees. And then press your right hip forward. Slightly tilt to the right. And then if you can, avoid knee touch down, do. If toes are prone to cramp, then toes turn under, so you don't have to soften them, and hold it there. But I'm going to keep soften at the toes and then slightly push the hip forward, chin up, stretch out your middles, and closure in the lower back and the neck too. That's it, stretch there. Then rest down at the right knee. If you can, turn the left foot slightly in and elbows down, and feel a little bit stretch in those left hips. So I've turned the left foot in, I've still got my hips square to the front, and then just feel a little bit of a stretch in that left hip. Now, who has been inspired by the Olympics? It has been fantastic. So much fun, ups and downs, all the excitement. Now draw that left heel away, toes, turn onto them, bring the right hand in, release your left arm, right leg, and lower build, and just stretch and lower, avoid touch down, and feel a bit of a challenge for balance. Then place the left hand, draw your right knee in, let the left leg stretch, choose whether you can soften toes and avoid knee touch down, and then chin up, chest high, bit of a tilt to the left so you're not feeling no stretch at all in that left hip. See if you don't feel too much of a stretch in your left hip, slightly over to the left a bit, and push the hip forward, and then chin up, stretch out your middle, closure in the lower back and the neck, and hold it just there. Good. Now don't worry if this feels too much at the moment, because we're going to come at it from various angles as class progresses. Now draw that right foot in, so nothing must be forced. If something isn't as easy to do, it doesn't matter, because we'll have a go at another way as class progresses. Now stay there, feel that stretch in the right hip, relax shoulders, and just allow really nice stretch actually in that right hip. Hold it there. Then let the hands go down. Release the heel if you had that turn of the foot. Bring the knee back. Left palms down. Release the right arm, left leg together, and raise and lower. Stretch through. One side is always easier than the other. Now place the right palm down, left knee, and look to the left, open chest, thread the shoulder. Now this is your chance to gather breath into that chest, upper back, as you open chest, and thread the shoulder through, and continue. Just a few nice stretchy open chest thread, just to where it'll go comfortably. And the next time, stay, and the ease of the arm through, gentle stretch, hold it just there. And a balance, same arm to side. Let the right arm lengthen away. Tuck elbow closer just to add extra if you can. And never try to persuade that left shoulder to touch down. It's just the balance of arm to side. Now let the left arm release behind, elbows in. Soften shoulders. Especially the right shoulder, it's a lovely stretch. The left arm goes ahead, bring your hands in, look to the right, open chest and thread that shoulder through. And again, nice and tall and thread. Oh. And loosen. Maisie would be very quick to tell me off if I took her with me on one of my sweeps. Now lift, heighten and loosen. And again, it's quite nice for the knees. When you go side to side doing this, your knees get a lovely loosen. That's it. Now the next time, stay shoulder low, ease the arm and hold it just there. And that balance of arm to side, just to balance it. Don't try and get that shoulder to touch down, just balance the arm out to side. And the left arm elbow tucks in. And then right arm behind, again soften shoulders. Good. And then both arms forward, and with those arms ahead, go forward onto knees, toes lifted and elbows slightly tilt them back. And when you do this, we're after a chest opening, so the lean of the body weight forward and the toes lift. Try and keep your chin up and chest high, and then just lower the elbows and think about breath into that chest upper back. So it's about breathing into that chest upper back, opening across the pectorals, and a bit of a stretch and strengthen. And the more you can forward tilt, the better. That's it. A few of these. Lower those elbows and build. Lower them down. Do that again. And the elbows are touching down. Lower down onto your front. And just give the elbows a little closer. Tuck it, lock fingers, and then chin up and soften shoulders. This gives you an idea of where you are with the lower back and how it's going to feel. So whether it feels a little bit tight or if perhaps it feels fine. Just get an idea. And one of the nice things, turn the fingertips. I mean, everything's lovely, isn't it? But this is particularly good for the lower back. If not, a little simple, but all the same, it works. Relax arms, don't do a thing with those. And then just nudge your hips down. And as you press your hips in, squeeze your lower back. Yeah, so it's not about arms, it's about squeezing that lower back. Good. That's all I'm after, a feeling of lower back warming up. And then release the left arm ahead, and with that left arm ahead, press out through those fingertips so you're lengthening. Sometimes worth just giving the hips a bit of a jiggle so they stretch too. What do you say, Maisie? Yeah. And then chin in, raise your left arm, push the right hip down, soften right shoulder. Always try to avoid the shoulders hunching. Raise the right knee and then curl that right heel in. And when you do that, do let those shoulders soften. And this is to warm up the hamstring. And you've already stretched out the front of the leg. And the lower back is being activated with that slight raise of the left arm. Just a few. Good idea as well for the knees. Perfect for those knees. You'll get a sense of a realignment in the knee. And then let the leg go, relax, left fingertips, temples, elbows, turn that elbow to side. Again, just make sure the right shoulder isn't hunchy, relax it. And then press your hips down and turn that left elbow to side. And the left palm, bring it in, release the right arm, slight raise, press out through your fingertips, chin in, relax the left shoulder, and then left knee lifts, curl the heel, and squeeze the back of the leg and stretch out through the front. And feel the lower back because you're stretching out the front of the leg. Good. I can hear thunder in the far distance. We had rain of the sort of rain we haven't seen for quite some time, just slightly earlier today. And I thought, the garden will be thrilled. Okay, now let the left leg go, relax the left shoulder, and then right temples, right fingertips, lead the right elbow to side, and that press of the hips in. And always notice if you feel tension build in, just don't allow it to develop. Relax shoulders, push the hips in. Good. And then we'll go back to that once again with the relax of shoulders. Maisie's moved out of sight. We can see what we're doing now. And nudge the hips. Now, as you do that, I'm just going to slightly move forward. Nudge the hips. Squeeze your lower back. Keep the forehead down. And think about squeezing. I always like to picture, as I do this, just that lovely warmth in the lower back. But as I say, don't do this and force. Never should feel forced. And the lower down, now arms down the body. And with those arms, pressing the shoulders down, roll them in. And as you roll them in, don't add extras, don't complicate and dilute. Instead, just concentrate on rolling the shoulders in and without extra bits to take away what we're actually wanting, which is the movement of shoulders squeezing together. Try to grab them in, but at the same time, push the shoulders down, don't hunch them up. That's it. And the release of the arms down, and then right arm ahead, turn, stack onto right, and as soon as you're on that right side, raise of the upper arm, and then top leg lifts and lowers, and with that lower leg stretch and that lift, continue. Neat lift and a lovely stretch. And continue there just as you are. Good. And when you let your legs stack, take the left foot. Now you mustn't force that at all, but if you can, take the foot. And the stretch, there's another stretch to be had here in that shoulder. So once you've got a hold of the left foot, try to soften the shoulder so it doesn't feel hunched up. And then press your hip forward. Again, we've stretched out the hip flexor and we've warmed up the hamstring. So it's hoped that we have a hold here. Keep pressing the hip. And let that go. Now fingertips down, and don't lean heavily, but you're going to just circle into that hip. And this, although I say circle, you know that it's more of a just move around your shoulder. It's not your shoulder. The reason I said shoulder is because Maisie appeared to be in my way, distracted me then. It's actually your hip, but I think you knew that. Circles around the hip. And then the other way, I can hear her. Go the other way. So it's only about moving around the hip in such a way that it's not familiar. So it tires it out. Tires it out. And then when you let your legs stack, take your stack, and then back to the originals, and those toes are turned down. Lead at that heel, don't go too high, and raise low. And I'm hoping you feel a bit of fatigue in that left hip. Raise lower. That's it. Then let your legs stack. And with the stack of the legs, fingertips down, turn. And as you turn, fingertips together, nudge the hips, squeeze the lower back again. Don't use your arms. Press your hips in. Good. And the release of the left arm ahead, turn left. And with that stretch onto the left side, raise of the lower leg and stretch away. And then left and lower, press out through your hips, raise the lowers and push through. And keep that lovely feeling of stretch. So it's simple, raise lowers, not too much height, just move through that stretch. Just enough to get a little bit of warmth here. So it's right there. It's not bad to place your hands sometimes and just notice, feel. And then again, don't force the stretch. You could always carry on as you were with those listeners, but we've stretched the hips, so have a go. Soften, shoulder, and then stack up the knees, press your hip forward, balance. And let that right shoulder drop. It's only trying to hold tension, so let your shoulder drop if it's a little hunched up. That's lovely. Maybe, and let go, and fingertips down, circles into hips, not your shoulders. And as you lengthen and circle into that hip, push out through your hips, move around the hip. That's it. Lovely stretch. And go the other way. As I say, it's all about just challenging in a direction that ordinarily it wouldn't go. And then go back to the original. So now it ought to feel much more fatigued. Go back to that raise and lower. Keep that stretch. And that raise low. Maisie's nodding off in front of me. See, we both find we like each other's company because she's relaxing to have as company. And then let your legs stack. Now fingertips in front, turn onto front. Final time of fingertips, turn them in. Relax shoulders again. And then nudge the hips down. And that feeling of closing the lower back again. And the lower down next time. Now I want the elbows back to tuck in and the chin up and the stretch out through the middle. Now for a moment, just let the shoulders soften. Take that stretch just here, head up, chin up. And then we're going to relax the neck by allowing the head to feel heavy. But to do that, you have to allow the shoulders to relax. Not so easy. Head heavy, chin in. And now when I rest my head down, I have to give up any tightness, tension in the shoulders to allow this to develop. When you hold tension in your shoulders, clearly your neck won't get the stretch that perhaps it could enjoy. So let the shoulders relax, keep the chin in, and keep this hold. Stay where we are. And to give yourself even more of a loosen, it's tiny, but draw the chin side to side, and it is really small. Then keeping the head down, chin in, release your arms back down the body, and then shoulders in. Now you can choose to add to this. I'm going to try and demonstrate without offending Maisie, but you can shoulders roll, shoulders in, and then can you see I'm sweeping my arms. I'm sorry, Maisie, and then I'm bringing them back. But I would have my arms much lower down if Maisie wasn't in the way. So I'm going to keep going with my arms down, but you can sweep your arms ahead if you wish to. Oh, thanks, Maisie, you let me do it. So reach out through your fingertips. Thank you. And then draw the arms down, squeeze them in, reach away, draw them down back. This is an option, and it's quite nice for the lower back, but it's only an option. You're very, very welcome to stay with the original. And then give the arms a release wide, pulse them, and as you pulse the arms, keep the chin in, tiny pulses, reach through. Chin in, head heavy, down with the chin so your neck gets to benefit too. Palms have turned up. And the release of that left arm forward, turn to the left, soften knees, and draw them in. And then, sorry, I've just got to release my hair grip, otherwise, ouch, always gets caught. And then shoulders down. Now, out goes top. Bring your knees to the middle. And once you get to centre, settle spine. Now engage middle. Settle spine, shoulders. Light touch, don't crunch toes. And then knees go on, we head the other. And see if you can get a little bit further with those knees, because you've got the toes down. You can perhaps go a bit further each way and loosen into your hips. And also that feeling of going across the lower back, so you're pressing the lower back down and nudging in as much as you can. They don't always touch down, so it's just an awareness to start with. Good. And back to middle. When you get back to middle, settle spine. Set up for shoulder bridge. Now the shoulder bridge, feet, knees and hips, soften toes. Before we start peel print, just give the entire spine a press down and feel it. So get an idea of how it's feeling. Press the lower back down, press through the spine. You don't get all of the spine to touch down necessarily, but just feel. And then let the spine relax into neutral. Yeah, and then give it another nudge down. Press it down just to get an idea of how it's feeling. And then back to the relax and the neutral. Keeping your placement, try and keep awareness of placement, feet, knees and hips aligned. And do your forward tilt. Then press and begin the peel and the print. And squeeze. And the movement, as you know, you can add a little at a time, or you can just go right away to the shoulders and get to know how it's going to do. And you know, that's another way of dealing with it. So you can just peel up to shoulders, and perhaps as you go up toward the shoulders you find areas that don't quite move as you'd like them to, or you may take the view that you'd rather just stay in the lower back and just move around that lower back. So you must just work with how it feels. For me, my preference is always to, soft toes of course, is to lift the heels, do be aware. That's not great if you get crampy toes, calves, but lift the heels and then peel and print. And this is because my shoulders adore it. They love, and I'm going to add the arms with Maisie slightly in the way. Print and forward squeeze, bring it back, peel. It's so nice. My neck is hugely grateful for this. And actually, to start with, when I do this to begin with, I always feel that I have to keep moving my head until I get to that comfort place where my neck's starting to loosen up. So it is quite, that's really good for your neck and shoulders. So have a go. Peel and print. Don't have to add these extras, as you know. You could have stayed in the lower back and just focused on that. But we have done quite a lot of mobility in the lower back with the lifts and lows earlier. So that it should feel a little warmer. Yeah, just go with that. I'm going to keep remembering to soften toes. So, and the print down, the next print down, rest your spine. And then once you get that touch down, settle there, and then soft knees back, toes light, outstretched arms, or just leave the elbows slightly softened, which is perfectly fine. And then side to side again, knees go one way, head the other, and then start to draw the left leg tall as you head to the right, back to middle, and change, and side to side. Good. And then start to add if you want to. So I know it's not sunshine as we've known it, but the sun has tried to come out, but I fear that there's also thunder out there. Yeah, it's a bit of a atmospheric sort of day. Now side to side. Didn't have to lift, as you know. You could have stayed with touchdown. Now back to the middle. Now if you did go for the lift, keep, and if you haven't, go back to middle, knees one at a time over hips, and then stretch your legs. Push your heels, point your toes. Just fantastic for circulation and the hamstrings, behind the knees, lower backs, and all of the things we've already dealt with, but just lovely. Flex point lower build. So you can feel. And you know, we've done a lot to loosen, so let's hope as you stretch out, flex and point lower build, that you're feeling the benefit of that lower back loosen. Good work. Push your heels, squeeze those calves. That's it. And then let the heels align with those knees. Perfect place to be from having done those stretches. Feel your middle. Now your centre should feel supportive, as you know, feel supportive, and it has to be just to keep the lift here. So keep those knees positioned over hips, otherwise if they drift off, you won't be able to retain this with any sense of happiness. So stay with the knees aligned, and then elbows in, press the shoulders down, maybe a little extra height through the lift. And keep pulsing. Keep those shoulders pushing down. And just add a tiny bit, maybe with those knees slightly further away, or heels ever so slightly higher. Good work. Stay there, don't add, but if you want to add the left leg stretch, tiny raise, and that right leg tall. But if you do add on, you've got to stretch that left leg, push through the heel, otherwise you won't feel happy. Don't just hold it there, you've got to stretch and lengthen. Good. And then you could keep the right leg tall if you've gone for that, or soften at the knee, hands by the hamstring there, and then raise the leg if you had that stretch, and then start to low build. Now if this feels too much, with the right leg lift, touch down the right toes and then hands on middle and follow that low build. So either stay with the lift of the leg, and there you are, low build slowly, or touch down toes. And the main thing to do and make sure of is that the knees don't drift off. So if the knees drift away or you hang onto the leg, then you're taking the work away from your middle. So we need to keep knees over hips and spine neutral, and then slow down. Take your time. Take your time. Yeah. And if that's going all right, going well, then float the arms and continue slowly with that lower and that build. Good. And then let the arms release, raise your left leg, slightly soften the right heel, and over to the right with the left leg tall, back to middle, and change. And follow again, just slowly side to side, and feel as you go across that lower back. Control. You could have touchdown if you wish. And then go back to the middle. And as you go back, knees align. So if you've got touchdown, knees one at a time. Over hips, arms, push those shoulders down. Make sure you can feel the stretch. So you're pushing shoulders down, elbows in. If you want to add, place your hand, just feel, can you keep that center draw and that spine neutral? Just feel the slightest increase in intensity by moving the knees a fraction further away, and that you can stay with, or release the right leg, push out through the heel, align the posture, and then just as long as that stretch is there through the right leg and you've got the flex, and the left leg tall, and then arms pulse them. Keep shoulders pressing down. Good. Keep pushing through the right heel if you go for this. Good. And then hands by the left hamstring and slightly soften at that heel if you wish to. Raise and lower the right leg. So if you had got the stretch, then raise and lower, or just raise and lower. If that feels too much, with the lift of the left leg, toes go down, and with the touchdown of the toes, continue that lower build, or as you were, keep the raise, knee align, and float those arms wide. And these, I've always got a slight soften elbows to prevent shoulder hunching. Any tension in your shoulders, it's going to prevent breath being easy. So you must be able to breathe, functional breath. So no shoulder tension. And follow this, just as we are. Good. Then elbows in. Now bring the right knee in, let your left leg relax, let the right knee settle. And this left leg straightens more so than the stretch for the right leg. So the right leg is just rested there, not trying to go far. And the left leg has a good stretch here in the hip. Hold it there and relax. Can you hear Trudy snoring? I'm sure Maisie is as well. Not snoring, but relaxed now. And let your right knee settle to side. Give it a moment to settle. And once it's settled, slide the left toes in Lower back softens, let your shoulders relax, and then nudge across that lower back, just simple. Nudge the knee away, side to side. Very good for feeling those hips, getting a bit of a stretch and a loosen. Good. And then back to the centre, and as you go back to centre, let the left toes draw closer, settle spine, bring the left knee in, extend, right arm through the gap, left to hamstring, hug, settle spine, picture that spine, and give the inner thigh a bit of a nudge on that right side and feel, I shouldn't need to tell you, the outer glute stretch. On the right, feel the stretch. Good hold, good stretch. Then soften the left heel, release the right leg, relax but stretch, and let your left knee settle over. Straighten that right leg so you get a stretch from the right hip, top of the leg, and feel that stretch. Lovely stretch. Good. And take your knee softened outside, let it go outside, settle. And once your knee has settled, slide the right toes in, light touch there, and then press across the lower back, nudge the knee away, and with that very supportive middle, trace across. That's good. Just loosen. It's very relaxed in here. And then go back to the middle. You can do more of those if you want to pause me and just keep going, because I could do quite a few more, but I fear that I could just stay here and just rock side to side. It's rather nice. Listen to truly snoring, and I think Maisie's just relaxed and possibly asleep. Now go back to middle. She's purring. Now right knee in, extend the leg and draw. That right leg close. Give those inner thighs a nudge and hold it just there. Yes, they're happy. Happy little sunshines. Now stay here. Good. Hold it there. Have a bit of a nudge on those inner thighs if you can. And then let the right heel soften. Follow that with the left foot away. Hands on knees, circles tailbone. Maybe go a little bit bigger. And the other way. Good. And then back to centre. And as you go back to centre, plant one foot, do the same with the other. Now go back to the shoulder bridge. Now you could perhaps keep the heels down, engage middle, or you might be happy enough to raise the heels and then peel to the bridge. When you get to that bridge, elbows in, and just see if you can just press your hips a little higher and stretch out a final time front of those legs. So by the time you finish today, those hips here, the hip flexors, have had a really good stretch. And in turn, that's going to loosen into those lower backs, which will help enormously. Yeah, and then slowly print down. Press last few pieces. Yeah, and now let the knees soften in. Place your hands and rock with the head to side. And as you go across the shoulders, lower back, close your eyes and see if you can go a little bit further each way, but avoid hanging onto the legs. So just feel that control. You might go a little bit further, side to side. That's lovely. And then go back to the middle. And as you go back in, release the legs away, one and then the other. And with those legs released, alternate the arms. And elbows close, and then press back. Push forward and just feel the shoulder movement. And let one arm stay behind you and one arm down, and tuck elbows in and just get that lengthen each way. Now I'm going to give my arms a heaviness by slightly softening the elbows. So I'm not holding tension in the arms, I'm just letting them go a bit heavy, and that's going to help the stretch. Then do the other side. Elbows in, heavy arms. And let's turn onto front. And as we turn over onto front, stretch those legs away. This wondered, now where did I put my hair grip? Now from here, I think we know the drill. So let's draw those middles. Hello, Maisie. If you come back to say hello, if you just come back for the plank, yeah. So let's draw those middles. Now, with those centres that support him, everything. Yeah. Let's go. Let's do it halfway. Stay with that one. Or toes under. Pull up, push through, and lengthen and stretch away. Good work. You're very good, Maisie. You're very good. You're so good. Is that a kiss? Give me a kiss. And then release it down. You do give out little kisses, don't you? Maisie, give me a kiss. Shy. A little bit shy now. And then she's so tiny, isn't she? She's just so tiny. You're so tiny. You are very tiny. Okay, another one. So either do halfway and stay on that one. Yeah. Or on the toes and pull up and push back through the heels and lengthen. Kiss. Little kisses. Little kisses. Well done. And again, release, lower it down. Okay, I've got one more to do, Maze. One more to do. And then, now don't forget, we've got restorative and rejuvenation as well. Yeah, a bit of restorative and a bit of rejuvenation. Okay, best one. So halfways, stay on that one. Or on today's, pull it, push through. And stretch. Do you know, I think I can hear thunder. Can you hear thunder, Maisie? Can you hear thunder? Can you? And that is good enough. Now, onto knees, have a sink in, lock those elbows and stretch away. Now bring your knees a bit closer in, as close as you can get them, and thumbs touch, and then see if you can get the elbows down. Then draw the hands wide again and the knees, and sink in. And when you're ready, walk your fingertips in, toes under. You could stay there for longer if you want to. And then as you walk, hands in, toes turn onto them, down onto those heels, restack, rebuild, melt the shoulders, engage middle. Now pull up tall. Oh, Trudy's about to jump. You shall hear a little fairy elephant then. Now pull again. Let it go. There's now a cue for me. One more. And release. Now I'll just say one more. This is the last one. And then match your hands. Follow down. Back to tall. Bring it in. I love the fact that they recognise different parts of the class, and I hope you've enjoyed that. For me, that's been just so relaxing, and I only wish you could see what I'm watching now, which is Maisie and Trudy having a little kiss, which was just delicious. Wasn't that just delicious? You just gave Maisie a little kiss, didn't you? Gave Maisie a little kiss. It's very sweet. We're having a very lovely day today. Let's hope it continues. How perfect. Thank you everyone for watching. It's a joy.